We are making the best chocolate chip cookie, also probably the best sourdough discard recipe I've ever had. This recipe is one of my #1 sellers in my sourdough micro bakery, and every single person I give it to is literally shocked by how good it is. Let's make these brown butter chocolate chip sourdough cookies. Now I am making a double batch in here, but the numbers I'm gonna be giving you is gonna be for one batch. 200 grams of brown sugar. Zero your scale, and we have 133 grams of cane sugar. This is just how I mix my ingredients together. People will tell you to do all your dry and then all your wet, and like you can totally do that, it's up to you. This is just how I do it because it simplifies the process, and I've never had any issues. And then I add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt. Now once I get these ingredients in here, I definitely take it off my scale for all the scale nasties out there. Give it a good stir and make sure that the sugar, brown sugar, baking powder, baking soda all gets incorporated really well. Then I'm gonna start adding my wet ingredients. 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 egg yolks. And I do think that having just the yolk in these cookies is one of the secret ingredients that makes them so rich and so good to eat. 140 grams of sourdough discard. People will tell you that in all recipes you need to use it at room temperature. I pretty much always pull mine from the fridge, put it right in the cookies, and never had an issue. And then we're gonna add our all-purpose flour, 340 grams. Don't forget to zero your scale. Getting our mixer attachment on. This recipe calls for 1 cup of unsalted brown butter. If you don't know how to brown butter, I would definitely watch a video because that's a whole different conversation. But don't skip the browning the butter. It's what makes these cookies taste so rich and flavorful and so good. I do make a lot of batches at one time, like I said, for my micro bakery, so I do brown my butter ahead of time because you don't want to put hot brown butter in with your sourdough discard. It will kill all the natural like yeast and stuff that's been fermented in there. Just pour this over the top of the flour, and you need to get all this chunk of brownness, goodiness at the bottom of your jar. That's the best part. Add my stuff in my bowl this way. It kind of makes it so I don't have to like really mix it too much, and my flour's not gonna like fly everywhere when I start my mixer. Definitely have to give her a couple little mixes here before I can let her just run wild with it. And we let our cookie dough mix. Now you can really measure with your heart on these chocolate chips, but I usually do about 1.5 cups. After this, I'm gonna let my cookies cool, chill in the fridge for like an hour or so. I'm gonna get about a 70-gram cookie every single time. You're gonna preheat your oven to 350 degrees. You're gonna bake these cookies, if they're just coming out of the fridge, for about 12 to 14 minutes. If you're gonna bake them from frozen, about 15 to 18 minutes.